Beloved, I want you to understand that every day is not just a sequence of hours, but a spiritual territory. When you wake up in the morning, you are not merely opening your eyes to light. You are stepping into a field of possibilities that must be governed. Morning is not just a time on the clock, it is a gate. And whoever controls the gate determines what is permitted to pass into the day. This is why the wise do not wake up casually. They wake up with consciousness, with intention, with alignment. December 27 is not an ordinary date. It is a prophetic point in time, a moment pregnant with divine intent. And if you must start this day with God, you must understand that prayer is not noise. Prayer is legislation. When you approach God in the morning, you are not begging a reluctant deity. You are standing before a loving Father who has already gone ahead of you. Prayer in the morning is not to inform God about your plans. It is to align your heart with His already finished counsel. The reason many people struggle through their days is not because the day was evil, but because they entered it without light. Darkness thrives where light is absent, and prayer is the tool that turns on the light of God in your spirit. When you pray early, you are declaring that God has the first word. And when God has the first word, He will also have the final say. There is a mystery about beginnings. Scripture reveals that the first fruit sanctifies the rest. The firstborn opens the womb, and the first mention establishes patterns. When you give God the first moments of your day, you are consecrating everything that follows. You are saying, Lord, before I speak to anyone, before I check any message, before I respond to any demand, I choose to respond to you. This posture is not weakness, it is spiritual intelligence. Many run into their days and later run back to God to fix the damage. But the wise run to God first, so the day itself is framed by His wisdom. Prayer is also prophetic because it is a declaration into the unseen. The visible events of your day are often the result of invisible conversations that took place earlier. When you pray, you are engaging those unseen realms. You are declaring peace where chaos was planned, favor where resistance was arranged, clarity where confusion was designed. Do not underestimate the power of words spoken in alignment with God. Life and death are in the power of the tongue, and the tongue that speaks early sets the tone for the hours ahead. As you start this day with God, understand that prayer is not only about asking, it is also about becoming. In the presence of God, you are shaped. Fear melts, faith rises, hope is restored, and vision becomes clear. Many people are tired not because they do too much, but because they carry too much in their hearts. Morning prayer is where burdens are exchanged. You give God your worries, and He gives you His peace. You give Him your weakness, and He clothes you with strength. This exchange is real, and it is available to those who dare to pause before the rush. December 27 stands as a reminder that seasons are changing. Some things must end so that better things can begin. But transitions require wisdom. You cannot step into a new phase with an old mindset. This is why prayer is critical. In prayer, God recalibrates your perspective. He shows you what to hold on to and what to release. He teaches you when to speak and when to be silent. He aligns your desires with His purpose so that you do not waste energy pursuing what will not satisfy. There are days when the enemy does not need to attack you openly. All he needs is to distract you. A distracted believer is a vulnerable believer. Morning prayer centers you. It gathers your thoughts, disciplines your focus, and reminds you of who you are. You are not a victim of circumstances. You are a child of God, called, kept, and covered. When you remind yourself of this truth in prayer, you step into the day with authority. You stop reacting to life and start responding from a place of dominion. Understand this truth deeply. God is not moved by urgency, he is moved by alignment. Rushing through life without prayer may look productive, but it is often unfruitful. One instruction from God can save you years of struggle. One insight received in prayer can open doors that effort alone could not open. This is why those who walk with God value his voice above their speed. Morning prayer positions you to hear. It quiets the noise of the world, so the whisper of the Spirit becomes clear. As you pray this morning, you are not just praying for protection, you are praying for direction. Protection keeps you from harm, but direction leads you to purpose. Many are safe but stagnant because they do not know where to go. Prayer brings light to the path. It may not always show the entire journey, but it will always show the next step. And obedience to the next step is what unlocks the next level. There is also power in consistency. One prayer can change a day, but a lifestyle of prayer can change a destiny. When you choose to start your mornings with God repeatedly, something happens within you. Your spirit becomes sensitive. Your conscience becomes sharp. Your discernment increases. You begin to notice when something is not right, even before it manifests. This is not mysticism, it is intimacy. The more time you spend with God, the more you begin to think like him. Do not measure the effectiveness of prayer by how emotional you feel. Measure it by how aligned you become. Some mornings will feel dry, others will feel intense. But consistency is what builds spiritual muscle. Even when you do not feel anything, your obedience is speaking loudly in the realm of the Spirit. God honors discipline. He responds to those who seek him, not occasionally, but diligently. As you commit this day to God, remember that prayer also activates gratitude. Gratitude shifts your focus from what is missing to what is already working. It reminds you that you are still standing because God has been faithful. Gratitude in the morning creates joy, and joy becomes strength. A joyful heart is resilient. It does not break easily under pressure. When you thank God before the day unfolds, you are declaring trust in his goodness, even before you see the results. Let this morning be a moment of surrender. Surrender does not mean giving up. It means handing over control to the one who sees the end from the beginning. When you surrender your plans, God purifies them. When you surrender your ambitions, God refines them. When you surrender your fears, God replaces them with faith. This exchange is the secret of peace. Peace is not the absence of trouble. It is the presence of God within the trouble. As this day progresses, let the words you have spoken in prayer continue to echo in your heart. Let them guide your reactions, influence your decisions, and guard your spirit. You may not control everything that happens today, but you can control who leads you through it. Starting your day with God is a declaration that you are not alone, that heaven is involved, and that grace is available for every demand you will face. Carry this consciousness with you. God is with you, God is for you, and God is working through you. Let this awareness shape how you speak, how you act, and how you respond. Let it remind you that every ordinary moment can become extraordinary when God is acknowledged. And as you walk through this day, may your steps be ordered, your heart be steady, and your spirit remain sensitive to the voice that leads you into life. Beloved, understand that when God becomes the foundation of your morning, he also becomes the interpreter of your experiences. Life will still present challenges, but those challenges will no longer confuse you. There is a grace that comes upon a person who has prayed early. It is the grace of clarity. You begin to see beyond events into meanings. You realize that not every delay is denial. Not every closed door is rejection. And not every battle is meant to destroy you. Some battles are classrooms. And prayer is what gives you understanding so that you do not repeat lessons unnecessarily. There is also something powerful about morning prayers, because the heart is still tender. Before bitterness, before anxiety, before frustration has time to settle in, you present your heart to God. This tenderness allows God to write his will clearly upon your spirit. Many people pray after the day has bruised them, but the wise pray before the bruises come. They allow God to fortify their heart so that even when pressure comes, they are not easily shaken. When you pray in the morning, you are declaring that your identity is not shaped by outcomes, but by relationship. Whether the day brings applause or silence, success or waiting, your confidence is anchored in God. This is faith, Edom. Freedom is not getting everything you want. Freedom is knowing who you are, even when things do not go as planned. Prayer anchors you in that truth. December 27 carries with it the weight of reflection and anticipation. It stands between what has been and what is yet to come. In moments like this, prayer becomes a bridge. It helps you carry wisdom from the past into hope for the future. You thank God for what he has done, and you trust him for what he will do. This balance protects you from regret and from anxiety. Regret looks backward with pain. Anxiety looks forward with fear. Prayer allows you to look back with gratitude and forward with faith. Understand that spiritual growth is not always loud. Sometimes it is quiet, deep, and unseen. Morning prayers often happen in silence, with no audience, no applause, and no recognition. Yet these moments shape destinies. God does his most profound work in secret places. When you choose to meet him early, you are choosing depth over display. And in due time, what is formed in secret will manifest openly. There is also a discipline that prayer builds within you. Discipline is the ability to choose what is important over what is urgent. Many urgent things will compete for your attention today, but not all of them are important. Prayer helps you prioritize. It teaches you to say no without guilt and yes without fear. It gives you the wisdom to invest your energy where it truly matters. Do not underestimate the spiritual transactions that happen when you pray. Some battles are not won by argument or strategy, but by alignment. When your spirit aligns with God, resistance loses its grip. Things that seemed heavy become lighter, and paths that seemed blocked begin to open. This is not magic. It is authority functioning in alignment with truth. Morning prayer also reminds you that you are part of something bigger than you. Your life is connected to divine purposes that go beyond your personal comfort. When you pray, God often places people on your heart, assignments in your spirit, and compassion in your soul. You begin to see beyond your own needs and become a channel of blessing. This is maturity. True spirituality is not self-centered. It is God-centered and people-aware. As you walk through this day, remember that prayer does not end when you say amen. It continues in your awareness. Every decision becomes a conversation. Every challenge becomes an invitation to trust. And every success becomes an opportunity to give glory. You begin to live prayerfully. You move with sensitivity. You pause before reacting. You listen before responding. This posture saves you from many unnecessary conflicts. There will be moments today when you are tempted to rely solely on your strength. In those moments, remember the posture of the morning. Remember that you began the day acknowledging your need for God. That same grace is available throughout the day. God does not withdraw his presence because you are busy. He walks with you in meetings, conversations, and quiet moments alike. Awareness of his presence is what turns ordinary routines into sacred experiences. Morning prayer also trains you to hope rightly. Hope is not wishful thinking. It is confident expectation rooted in God's character. When you pray, you remind yourself of who God is. You remember his faithfulness, his power, his mercy. This remembrance fuels hope. And hope becomes the anchor of the soul, steadying you when emotions fluctuate. Let this day be marked by intentionality. Do not drift through it. Drift is dangerous because it is unintentional. Prayer gives you direction. It reminds you that your words matter, your actions matter, and your choices matter. Even small decisions can have lasting impact when they are made double. The wisdom. As you continue to walk in this awareness, guard your heart. Protect what God has deposited in you this morning. Not every conversation deserves your vulnerability. Not every opinion deserves your attention. Prayer sharpens discernment so you know what to receive and what to release. This guarding is not isolation, it is stewardship. Remember also that strength is renewed in God's presence. If you feel weary at any point today, return in your heart to that place of prayer. Even a silent acknowledgement of God can restore strength. His presence is not limited by location. He is as present in the noise as he is in the quiet. Awareness is the key. As the hours unfold, let gratitude remain on your lips. Gratitude keeps your heart soft and your spirit light. It prevents entitlement and nurtures humility. A grateful heart attracts grace, and grace empowers you to do what you could not do by yourself. Above all, walk in confidence, not arrogance, but assurance. Assurance that you are seen, known, and loved by God. Assurance that nothing you face today catches him by surprise. Assurance that his grace is sufficient for every demand. When you carry this confidence, fear loses its authority and peace becomes your companion. Let this day be lived from the inside out, not driven by pressure, but guided by presence, not ruled by fear, but anchored in faith. You have begun this day with God, and that beginning has already shaped the outcome. Walk forward with trust, with wisdom, and with the quiet strength that comes from knowing that the one who ordered the morning also governs the rest of the day. Beloved, as you step fully into this day, let this truth remain settled in your spirit. When God is the beginning, he also becomes the assurance of the end. You did not start this day alone, and you will not walk through it unsupported. The prayers you have lifted this morning have already gone ahead of you, shaping outcomes, silencing opposition, and aligning moments in ways you may never see but will surely experience. Walk with calm confidence, knowing that grace is carrying what strength cannot, and wisdom is guiding what effort alone could not accomplish. Let your heart remain yielded, your spirit attentive, and your trust unwavering. As this day unfolds, may peace guard you, clarity lead you, favor speak for you, and the presence of God remain your constant companion, turning every step into purpose and every moment into testimony.